Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Andrew Olson. You are watching a classic cinema review of Buck Privates. Buck Privates was directed by Arthur Lubin and released by Universal Pictures in January of 1941. The Selective Training and Service Act of 1940, which was peacetime conscription, otherwise known as the draft, has been passed. Outside an Army recruitment headquarters, a young playboy arrives, delivered by his chauffeur, who promptly tenders his resignation. As the two young men enter the building to enlist, across the street, two hustlers are peddling neckties on a street corner. The police bust up their operation, the ensuing chase ending in the recruitment building with the two peddlers narrowly escaping arrest by accidentally joining the Army. As the new recruits say goodbye to their loved ones at the train station before shipping out for training, the young chauffeur, Bob, meets former friend or possibly former flame, Judy, who has also joined the Army. Bob approves. The hotshot playboy, Randolph Parker III, also spots Judy from across the room. The hustlers, Slicker Smith and Herbie Brown, take a brief interest in Judy as well, but pay more attention to the Andrews sisters, who are entertaining the troops. During the train ride, there is another performance from the Andrews sisters, a comedic crap game of con men, and the first tension between Bob and Parker over Judy. At Camp, K Company, as they are now referred to, settle in. K Company meets its new sergeant, none other than the tough police officer the boys narrowly escaped from earlier. Sergeant Collins remembers them, too. Later, Judy helps Bob write a love letter by serenading him and the other soldiers in the rec hall with a beautiful example in song. This leads to the second round of competition as Parker walks in unnoticed, but he notices Judy again across the room. All of a sudden, Judy is introduced to Parker by her commander and is ordered to show the shy recruit around the camp. Bob takes notice and, not to be outdone, enlists the help of Herbie to deliver a large fib about the captain wanting to see Parker immediately. At the soda fountain, Slicker wants a loan from Herbie. This exchange leads to currency exchanging hands with hilarious results. Needless to say, they could give the Federal Reserve a few lessons in dealing with currency. Training for the entire camp ensues, with Slicker and Herbie confounding Sergeant Collins even further, much to the rest of the platoon's entertainment. Private Parker, who has been expecting his influential father to get him out of his year-long recruitment, is startled to find his father has no such intention. As such, he does get to spend more time with Judy. However, the competition for her affection keeps growing over and above him and Bob. As comedy ensues and training continues, the sergeants of the different companies cook up a shooting match. K Company bets the works on Parker, who is the best marksman they have, but neglect to tell him about the bet due to the fact that he's a very rich and aristocratic kind of guy, and they don't think he would appreciate the small change that they've bet on him. Parker, on the other hand, looks at the shooting roster and sees Bob's name on the list and decides to duck out of the match for a date with Judy. Judy informs him about the bet, and he learns all too quickly a swift lesson in loyalty. When extensive Army maneuvers, that's peacetime war games to us modern folks, pit each company in training against the real Army, the misfits of K Company have their biggest challenge yet: win the maneuver without killing one another in the process. It's entirely up to you, however, to find out whether or not they survive and make it to the dance on time. Buck Privates is, of course, a comedy with lots of laughs and plenty of musical numbers featuring the Andrews sisters. It's a lighthearted film, but not without a touch of drama and a love triangle to boot. Abbott and Costello's comedic timing was impeccable in this film. It's easy to see why they became such a success after this one. This is their second film after One Night in the Tropics, and it has a similar dynamic for the type of characters and the relationships between them as with One Night in the Tropics. The main difference between the two, apart from the setting and the story, is Abbott and Costello's role in the film. They are much more at the forefront as opposed to being merely comic relief in One Night in the Tropics. The entire cast played well together and bring great on-screen chemistry and solid performances all around. Universal Pictures did an excellent job of putting this group together, and this was indeed a humongous hit back in 1941. I don't remember, I know I've read it somewhere, but I don't remember how much tickets cost. It was like 25 cents or something for a movie ticket. But the movie made $4 million. It was a success. No question about it. Arthur Lubin's direction brings all elements of this film together cohesively, making it decidedly well-balanced. And I do like a well-balanced film. The musical director was Charles Previn, with songs by Don Ray, Huey Prince, Sonny Burke, and Vic Schoen. I'll Be With You in Apple Blossom Time was written by Albert von Tilzer and Neville Fleeson. That song dates back to 1920, although in this film and subsequently it was a major success for the Andrews Sisters. On the subject of music, when Judy sings I Wish You Were Here, a group of soldiers join her, adding a beautiful layer of soft harmony, the likes of which I doubt can be found anywhere in modern music today. It's a shame. The Andrews Sisters are featured as camp hostesses, which give them a credible reason to be featured throughout the film, especially on the army base, as opposed to a more super brief guest appearance, say a brief concert or something at the end of the film. They even share a few lines of dialogue with other characters. That's pretty cool. Lee Bowman, who played Private Randolph Parker III, apparently was originally supposed to be the star of the film, as there was some question regarding Abbott and Costello's, star quality, you could say. This apparently changed during production, and it's still apparent during the beginning and the end of the film. Abbott and Costello are billed first and second during the opening of the film. However, Lee Bowman and Alan Curtis are billed first and second during the end credits, which is interesting. It's also apparent that Lee Bowman and Alan Curtis were meant to have the starring two roles of this film just from watching the ending of the film. It's very apparent that they're featured a bit more heavily there than, say, during the middle of the film where Abbott and Costello seem to take up much of the screen time. This film is notable for all of the things I've mentioned, but one that stands out to me is a comedic musical number that features none other than Louis Costello and Shemp Howard of the Three Stooges. You have one member of both comedy teams featured in the same musical number, which is kind of interesting. This is before Shemp was with the Three Stooges filming their shorts for Columbia Pictures. What more can I say? Buck Privates is an hour and a half of solid comedic entertainment with top-notch musical performances, romance, and even a moral or two for good measure, which make this classic a winner. I give it 2 thumbs up. I'm going to give it a 4.5 star rating out of 5, and yes, I do recommend it. As always, I have to give a shout out to Gary over at drmacro.com. Thank you, Gary, for the images that you allowed me to use. Folks, if you want to see more movie stills, posters, and other Hollywood memorabilia, head over to drmacro.com. It's a great place to dig through and to spend some quality time if you're interested in such things. I got to thank all of you for watching. There will be more classic cinema reviews coming soon, I promise. And as always, I look forward to seeing all of you next time.